This video is brought to you by the case that can increase your download speeds by up to 30%. Go to amidcasing.com for more information. And the ultimate iPhone warranty that protects your phone from drops, spills, and everything Apple will not. SquareTrade.com/TSIG. How's it going there, YouTube? This is Quinn, that Snazzy iPhone guy, and this is the video review of the Denon AH-C560R in-ear headphones. Now, the name is a bit daunting, but the headphones are a pretty good value. They retail for $99 US, and for my British friends, that's just over 60 quid. Now, let's talk about what you're going to get in the box, because with $100 headphones, you should expect quite a bit. Unfortunately, not a lot comes with these. You're going to get the headphones as well as some warranty and manual information, just your typical run-of-the-mill literature. You're going to get 3 silicone tips, small, medium, and large. Medium is what is displayed right here. You're also going to get some Comply tips. You're going to get 1 pair, foam, medium size. And if you've never used Comply foam tips in the past, I published a review on them. They're an excellent way to listen to music if you're not going to be running around a ton. If you are, if you're going to be moving, if you don't have a lot of time to put the headphones in and let them sit, they're a bit of a pain. But when you're doing some heavy-duty listening, they are absolutely one of the best ways to listen to music. And then you're going to get a hard shell carrying case. It's not, anything fancy, but it is nice that they did include it. Now, these are an in-ear style headphone, and if you can look, like the Klipsch Image S4, they're jointed. Now, there's a couple of manufacturers that are taking after this style, and I really do like it when I'm running a straight line cable. When I have the headphones in upside down and I'm running the cable over my ear for studio work, and I know a couple people, athletes, sometimes do that, it's going to be quite uncomfortable because it's shaped in this fashion where if it's running through your ear, there's going to be 2 very harsh contact points rather than when it is in straight line and it kind of just resides across the whole part of your ear. So if you do run it over your ear, please beware that it can be uncomfortable if you can even get it to fit. I didn't avail much success myself. Now, in terms of the cable and in terms of the housing, you're going to get these headphones with a pretty nice plastic housing. Usually with headphones this size, usually with headphones this price, I like to see aluminum construction. These still have a plastic housing, which is a bit of a disappointment, but these are some of the best value and some of the best well-built headphones I've seen. Now, why? You may be asking. It's plastic. I don't know what Denon did with this plastic, but it is fantastic and it's very easy to use and put in your ear, and I've slammed it and dropped them and they feel absolutely 100% sturdy and solid. So I've been very happy with the build quality. Unfortunately, the cable is where you're going to experience some issues. I think part of the problem was how Denon decided to pack the headphones. They basically mashed the cable up in the bottom of the box, and some manufacturers do that. However, with most headphones, you'll notice that the kinks and all the cracks and all the weird stuff that happens to the cable goes away in a couple of days' use. I've had these nearly 3 months and they are just as tangled and just as damaged in terms of cord invulnerability as they were the day I got them. They're not very conforming. It sounds really awful when you have no music on. There's tons of cable noise, so if you're a skier, if you're a runner, and your music is down low or you don't have it on at all, you're going to notice a lot of kind of sound when it's rubbing against your clothing, which in $100 headphones should not be present. When we move down the cable, we'll find the yoke. The yoke has a 3-way clicker, which is quite unusual because the yoke is usually up here on the left earbud, about halfway up between the yoke and the earbud. I don't really like this placement. I can see why Denon did it to diversify themselves and to make them pretty equal in terms of weight on each side, but I don't like it. It puts it further away from the mouth, so the microphone isn't as good, and also it's at a very weird spot if you use the microphone and the controller how they were intended. I go skiing all the time and I love the little stud that's right here that usually is there to help you with your headphones. You can change music, stuff like that, without opening your coat or pulling your iPod out of your pocket. And well, when this is inside your coat, it's of no use to you. So I noticed that was a big problem and I didn't like the way that was placed. Now, that being said, the controller itself is extremely well built. The 3 buttons on there are very haptic and they give you quite a bit of button-like feedback. It's one of the best controllers I've used in terms of build quality and functionality. Now, it does come with a microphone, but unfortunately it sounds like a microphone that's in a pair of eBay headphones. It's one of the worst microphones I've used on a pair of headphones, and these are $100 headphones. I was expecting a lot more, but on both ends, my caller and when I was taking voice notes, it just didn't sound good. So if you're going to be using it for call quality, just be aware that it's not going to sound very fantastic. When we move down the 3-foot cable, we will find the 3.5 millimeter male headphone jack. It is an L joint, which I'm not typically fond of, but it is pretty versatile and moves the way you need it to conform because of this bendy-like structure. So it's not a straight line cable, which I usually prefer, but this doesn't get in the way and will get out of the way when you need it to. It is also recessed, so if you have a first generation iPhone or one of the cases for the iPhone that has a weird or inaccessible headphone spot, and a lot of the headphone jacks that are fat will not fit, the Denon C560Rs will not give you any problems. Now, of course, these are headphones. You want to know how they sound, so let's talk about the sound. When I pulled them out, I was almost dismayed by the audio quality. It just didn't sound good. They were incredibly piercing on the top end, and the low end was really weak and laggy. I decided, as I do with pretty much all my headphones, was to burn them in for 24 hours. I burned them in for 24 hours, and to my dismay, they were about the same as when I had first initially tried them. My first thought was, well, these headphones are crap, and I decided to give them one last shot. I ran it through 24 hours of pink noise. If you don't know what pink noise is, it sounds like this. It's a wretched sound, but what it does is it gets rid of a lot of the inefficiencies and unbalance that you have in new headphones. So I ran the pink noise for 24 hours, wasn't expecting much of a difference. However, I was overwhelmed by the response. The incredibly piercing top end had lightened up quite a bit. It was a lot crisper and a lot more defined, and then the low ends, which were really pretty laggy and pretty weak, became a lot tighter and a lot punchier. They were a lot more toxic. Now, let's talk about sound quality and genres and what kind of music you listen to. I listen to all sorts of music, and there's no real one set of headphones that are going to offer you all of that. These aren't really a flat equalized set of headphones. They do have a bit of a heavier or lower end once I burn them in, like I said. And the highs still are a tiny bit shrill when you're listening to some unplugged stuff or alternative stuff, but the bass remains tight and it sounds very good. Now, it's not as punchy as the Klipsch Image S4s or the punch plugs from Rockford Fosgate, but that's probably for the better. It does offer a more flat, stabilized EQ that I did prefer once I was listening to it. In terms of classic rock and alternative, it sounded pretty good. The mids did get a little bit lost at points, which is kind of sad, but the bass and the trebles were always defined and sounded very good. So if you're going to be listening to rock and alternative, there are better options. I recommend the Klipsch Image S4s, but that's just my 2 cents. If you're listening to pop, R&B, that kind of classier, upbeat sound, you're going to get some higher shrills, and unplugged music is nothing to be, very excited about. It doesn't sound anything too fantastic, and I wasn't too overwhelmed by the way that sounded. It just was eh. Now, when you move into the tight end, it's very good. Dubstep, electronica, rap, hip-hop, it all sounds fantastic, and it's due in part to the very tight low end. Now, that being said, it's not so tight or low-end heavy that you lose a lot of the other instrumentals in the background. Instrument separation on the Denon C560Rs is some of the best I've seen in in-ear headphones, and it sounds absolutely fantastic when you're listening to this, lower-end style of music. Now, one thing to note is that these leak in quite a bit, more than any other in-ear headphones I've tested. Now, some people don't care, but I honestly don't like people around me hearing what I'm listening to. So if you don't like that, which most people don't, it may be a bit irritating, especially to others, if they have to listen to what you're listening. I've never seen leakage in in-ear headphones that bad before, if at all, but these were actually pretty bad, and I was kind of disappointed by that. Now, that being said, noise cancellation is absolutely fantastic. When you put these headphones in, it is passive noise cancellation, obviously, as it's not battery powered, but passive noise cancellation, if you get a good seal on your ear, you don't notice anything. Now, that being said, you will pick up cable noise, like I stated earlier, which is a big pain in the butt, but you got to take one for the team, don't you? So final conclusion for the Denon AH-C560Rs is a 5 out of 10. That's a good rating. It's average. If you don't know our grading scale, or if you haven't seen the new grading scale video yet, there is, whoa, I just tipped the camera over. There's an annotation above which will tell you everything you need to know about the new grading system. 5 out of 10 is average. There's better options out there, e.g. the Klipsch Image S4s and the Rockford Fosgate punch plugs both offer a little bit of a lower end sound. These were a little bit more flat response. You can take a look at the Ultimate Ear Super 5 5VIs if you're looking for a bit more upper or treble response, if you're looking for unplugged or alternative music. And then, these are good headphones. For $100, these are a solid choice. They're made by Denon, a very legacy-enticed and a very well-known corporation. However, there are better options out there for the money. This is Quinn, that Snazzy iPhone guy. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.